Yeah. Hey. 3-point firefighter, always ready for more. Saving citizens and leaving egos at the door. Another day up in the life, showing you what it takes. Got the hunger, pride, drive, spirit that never breaks. Yeah, always there when danger is threatening. When seconds count, guess what? We're counting the seconds. 3-point firefighter. 3-point firefighter. Hey, IGAF.
Welcome back to 3-Point Firefighter. Today, my guest is Chris Woertz. Now, Chris is a friend of mine, and Chris is a 23-year veteran of the fire service. He's done both volunteer and career. He is currently the Assistant Chief of Operations for Tri-Township in Indiana. Just so happens he protects my house, so I feel very safe. If you know Chris, you know he's a constant learner. He is always striving to be better. He has never backed down. He's only ramped up. He's very much a student of the craft. And in his spare time, he details cars. Chris, brother, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, sir. Glad to be here.
Sir, listen to you.
Yeah.
All fancy and shit. Look.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Hey, that's a lovely shirt you got there. Can
You
you?
okay? You okay?
Yeah, it was that three.
Oh,
Oh, 3-point firefighter.
yeah.
Yes.
Look at the
What,
back
is he-
there. Oh,
Look at the
Yeah.
back. That is a beautiful. Oh, wait a minute. Those are my shirts.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So
yeah. Right.
Chris is a very good friend. Chris has always supported me in everything I've done. And I appreciate you wearing the shirt. Appreciate you being on, brother. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Life
So
is good.
life is good, isn't it? Life is
It
not
is.
too bad right now. Well, I guess it depends. If I had to get back with my first wife, that'd be pretty shitty. Okay, there's your
Heard-
first question.
heard that.
Right? Have you been married more than once?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Winning lottery ticket or getting back with your, but to get the winning lottery ticket, you got to get back with your first wife, or you stay broke with your current wife. Which is it?
Probably stay broke.
Yeah, not me. I
Yeah.
would take the money and just cheat all over my first wife.
There
Just
you
like
go.
she did me. Ha! That's why people listen to Firefighter podcast, because of that.
That's
shit,
right.
all right?
Yeah, pretty much. You're right.
So there's, I call you a friend. I'm proud to call you a friend. We also work together. We'll talk about that later. But the one thing I don't know about you is how you got started in the fire service. It's like when I got up in this area, it was like you were just here. So how did you become a firefighter?
So, 23 years ago, I worked with a bunch of guys at a car dealership in Corden, and a couple of them were volunteer firefighters out in southern Harrison County. And I lived in the north, so I'd actually started at Tri-Township in Harrison County for just a couple of years, and then I moved up to Ramsey's area in northern. But they, we'd go to their house, we'd ride four-wheelers, hang out and stuff, and they would get calls, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, So I'd go with them on some stuff. I was like, I kind of like that. I think I might get into that. And it was just on from there. Just hooked,
So was it just joining the fire service that got you hooked, or was it like the first fire or the first EMS run or the first any run? What was it that locked you in completely? You're like, well, there's nothing else I'm going to ever do.
Probably the first fire. Once I got that opportunity for that, it was I was hooked. I just couldn't get enough of it.
So tell me about this first fire. What we got?
Actually, it ended up being a mutual aid fire in Mockport with southern Harrison County, and it was like it wasn't nothing special, nothing crazy. It was just a single wide trailer. Ended up being a meth lab, as a matter of fact.
What?
Yeah, believe it or not, that was pretty popular 20-some years ago in that area. So, but no, I don't just loved it. Just enjoyed every bit of it, and it was things have come a long way in the fire service since then. And
Yep.
it doesn't seem like it's been that long ago, but it's been a minute. It has.
It's funny when. It seems like your first couple of years go so slow, because usually you're waiting for that. You're waiting for that time to where you can sit down at the dinner table and tell your stories with everybody else. You're not just listening. And it seems like forever before you get to that point in your career where you're considered a firefighter and you've got stories and new guys will come to you for stuff. That seems like it takes forever. But from that point on, you blink and your career's over.
It's big. You're in it. I mean, you look back, it's like, gosh, where's the time gone? You know?
Yes, absolutely. But it's fun. It's such a great job for me.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be a firefighter. I told the story before. I was doing every job just to be broke, working pet stores and stuff like that. My brother, my uncles, a bunch of my family members were in the Air Force as Russian linguists. That was their job. So I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of spinning my wheels. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week to be broke. So I went and joined the military, joined the Air Force, and I got to pick 4 jobs. They guaranteed me one of the 4. So the last job I couldn't figure out. And the last page was fire protection specialist. So I put it down. Of course, the line recruiter said, look, you're not going to get that, dude. You're going to get the one you want, I promise. No, I got firefighter. And I wasn't excited. I mean, like, because from the time I was told I'm going to be a firefighter to the time I went to my tech school to become a firefighter, boot camp and everything, it was probably 7-8 months. I was never excited about being a firefighter. I was like, I just wanted to be in the military. I wanted to kickstart my life. I wanted to serve my country, that whole 9 yards. Then the first day we walked into the bay, this was a Chinook. They've closed this base down since then, but you walk into the bay and there was, I'm not exaggerating, 50 fire trucks of crash trucks, ladder trucks, engines, utility trucks, everything. And they were all shiny. And I remember walking in there and I'm like, okay, I got a pretty cool job. But it wasn't till our training burn that misshapen my helmet. They let me stay in longer. I was off gassing when I came out. And that's when I said, I will do no other job for the rest of my life but be a firefighter. That was my big turn of events, and never looked back, never doubted it. I did think about quitting permanently after I was part of a line of duty death. And I remember thinking, you know what, maybe I'll be a dentist or a vet, or, I was thinking all these things I could do differently. And that lasted 2 whole weeks. And I was like, nope, this is all I want to do. This is it.
Yeah.
It's addicting as shit, isn't it?
It is. I enjoyed, especially, spending the first 17, 18 years being on the volunteer department. I just kind of get, come and go as you want, as you could, the time you could spend. But I got to learn quite a bit, even though I was kind of limited to my area, just within Harrison County. But I got exposed to people, with other departments around. And then once I got the opportunity to come up here to Tri-Township on a career department, and just the kind of journey we've had over the past 5 years since we've been in existence now, I've gotten to be exposed to just so much more. There was things that I thought I was pretty good at and knew pretty good. And I'm like, I get up here and start going to more classes and more trainings. And it's like, gosh, I didn't know shit the first 15, 16 years, I mean.
When I retired not too long ago, I remember this was probably a year and a half ago. I felt like I was hitting my stride, if that makes any sense. I felt like, not that I knew everything, that's not what I'm saying, but I thought that I could figure out stuff way easier. Like when you first come to the fire department, it's like it's really difficult to find information sometimes, especially when you're not looking for, I'm not looking for how big a Tecumseh motor's on this blower. I'm looking for some like real world experience from real people. And I had made a pretty nice little network. And I remember thinking, 30 years, I'm going, I think I'm starting to get this after 30 years.
Right.
But
yeah.
There's no finish line. There never is.
There's not. I mean, it's always changing. Everything, the science, the technology, everything's always evolving. And it's all you can do is to keep learning unless you just want to be a settler. You've got your people that just settle for where they're at. Yeah, they don't want to do no more. They don't want to learn no more. They just want to kick that recliner back. They want to get that paycheck and go home. And I just couldn't do it, man. That would just drive me nuts.
I've said on here many times that, I was that piece of shit for a while. I really was. And I regret it. And again, I've always said this too. Part of my penance is I have to talk about it publicly like this because not everybody has to go through that. For me, though, I had worked with people that And I hate this phrase. And, like there's two phrases in the fire service. The first one is obviously, we've always done it this way, right? The second
Yep. Oh yeah.
one, I cannot stand, and I heard this so many times at my old department, they were dead before the bell struck. That's what people would say. And I'm like, okay, first off, you don't train, you're a captain, you walk to your truck, you don't take any extra training. This goes for a lot of them. That you don't do anything, and that's how you go to sleep at night. They were dead before the bell struck. No, you know what?
No.
The funny thing is, and I love talking about this, is survivability. It's not our job to determine survivability. It's the victim, right? We
Yep.
decide whether it's searchable, and if it's
Absolutely.
not searchable, we make it searchable.
Yep.
So, people, I like to. Well, let me go back. I was in a really good mood one day at a department I worked at, and I was talking to the people on shift, and we were talking a little bit about expedition, being more expeditious, I should say. And they're like always walking to the truck, no matter what they walk to the truck. They slowly put the gear on. And I said, look, you got to understand, there's a point before somebody dies in a fire that 10 seconds before they die, they're alive. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
We can put that 10 seconds back on their clock if we hurry up and get to the truck. If we do bunker drills, if we do mask up drills, if we do them with our gloves on, if we practice pulling lines over and over and over, if we practice moving lines fast in a house, if we do that, not only are we going to put that 10 seconds back on their clock, we could probably put 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute back on their clock.
Absolutely.
And, I'm passionate about it. That's our job. That's what we get paid for, or that's what we volunteer our time away from our families for. And so I was kind of feeling my oats. I'm not going to lie. I was feeling pretty good about this. And I said, brothers, do me a favor. When you get a fire or when you get an alarm today, do me a favor. Don't make fun of because usually as a training officer, that's all you do is you get made fun of, right?
Yeah.
I was like, don't make fun of what I'm saying. Just for today, every time you get a run, hurry as quick as you can to that truck. Say as safe as you can, but quick first. Put your gear on fast. Get on the truck. Try to get out quicker because that's what's going to put time on the clock. I swear to you, that a second. And this was the captain that did it. I'm watching them from my office, and they not only are they walking slow. It seems like they're walking slower, and the captain's screaming, "Oh, we got to hurry up. We got to save. We got to give 10 seconds to save." They're making fun of everything I've said. And they slowly get on the truck and they slowly pull out. And I'm like, okay, that's where I am at. That's, it's terrible. It's terrible. And they're not firefighters. Sorry. Yeah. You ride a fire truck. You got a t-shirt that says firefighter. Hell, you might even go into a fire, but you're a city employee at best. Those are the people that I think are city employees.
They're paychecks. They're to get paychecks.
T-shirts and bumpers. Bumper
That's
stickers,
right.
man. They wear those T-shirts so proud, so people can ask them or see on their day off.
Yeah.
Are you a firefighter? Hell yeah. What if
Right.
they were honest and they said, well, I work in the fire department. I don't work that hard though.
Yeah. I mean, 25% maybe. Yeah. It just depends.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, going to a house and kids die at the fire. The parents are outside and you're trying to console them. And you go up to them as a chief officer and say, listen, I'm really sorry about your loss. But to be fair, the first in company, they're not big on training. They'd rather just sit on the couch. And those parents would go, okay, we understand it. That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, fuck no. They truly think we're superheroes.
They absolutely do.
And
it doesn't matter what it is. It ain't got to be a fire. It could be anything. And we're going to fix it for them.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, think about this. How many times have you left a scene, any scene you can think of, EMS, hazmat, confined space, fire, that the problem wasn't solved? One way or the other, the problem wasn't solved.
Right. Not many. Figure something out.
Yeah.
right, wrong, or indifferent, we're going to figure something out.
Exactly. How many accountants or dentists or doctors leave work going, I'll take care of that tomorrow? We don't have that ability. We have to do the job. And the only thing that bridges an infinite amount of problems with a finite amount of tools is our brain. And to make that connection, you have to train. You have to train hard. You have to work your fucking job, and you have to realize that you're not the first thing. honestly, and I get pushback for this, I don't think the firefighter and the fire and your crew is the most important thing. I don't think it's
No,
our citizens.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I've had so many people, oh, that's bullshit. You got to take care of your crew. If you take care of your citizens by training and working hard, learning your district, staying
You're
up on
taking care of
modern
your crew.
tactics, yeah, your crew's automatically taken care of.
Yeah, they're taking
But
care
it's
of themselves. They're right because
it's a
they're
mindset.
prepared.
Yep.
You're absolutely correct.
I
You know,
wish
you talk
would
about
Go ahead.
segment, about time and stuff like that. You know, we've done some live fire training back earlier this year, and we actually videoed a lot of it and just cell phone video, and timed a lot of stuff. And we saw just mask up drill. That like you talked about that. That was one of the things that just over the whole group, every shift we went, it's like that's something I think we can do better at that. So I started getting on all the shift captains. I was like, hey, you start drilling this, and a couple of them come back now, and like they are smoking their mask up times from what they were back this spring. I mean, they're just killing it now. There's guys getting masked up in seconds instead of 30, 40, 50 seconds.
Isn't that awesome?
It just takes
awesome?
just a little bit of time, a little bit of drive, and just keep repetition, and they're killing them now.
I came up with a task book for new recruits, and it has a whole bunch of things in it, basically, like throwing ladders, 1-man, 2-man ladder throws, cleaning a saw, starting a saw, changing blades, a bunch of the little stuff, putting the boat in the river, bringing it out, a bunch of little things that you don't really cover for state search, but they're very important. And the thing is, they have the rest of the year to finish it, and they can't do all of them at once. Like, for example, let's say you have to throw a 35 with 3 people. Let's say you have to do that 10 times before you can turn your task book into me, just as one of the tasks. You can't do them all in one day. Only one will count that day, one to go around, basically. So you're stretching it out. I got a lot of pushback, not from the new people, but from the old people. And I had one person come up to me who great firefighter, done nothing but support me, but he had a question that surprised me. And his question was, why do we have to have them do bunker drills when they've already done them with you? And he was adamant that they didn't need to. I don't know that I explained it very well. I hope I did, but I kind of think not only do we all need to do bunker drills all the time. I don't care if you're a chief, you need to be down there doing bunker drills. But I get mad thinking about how bunker drills are done. For example, when you're a new person, describe to me as a new firefighter, you're a brand new recruit, you're getting ready to do your very first bunker drill. How do you set it up? Walk me through it. I'm sure it's the same way everybody else.
Yeah, you said your boots are down, your Nomex is laying in the crotch of it. Your next your next piece you're throwing on, and it's just like a step. Where you're doing that and throwing the step on. You got your air pack already laid out at the very end, and your helmet to do it. It's all laid out like that.
Yes.
And you'll never do it like that ever again in your life. Because you're in the truck, you're going to the grocery store, you're coming back from a med call, your shit's all over the truck, and you're like scrounging, grabbing, throwing it on in the back of the truck while going down the road.
Buddy, I tell you what, it's like we practiced this, and we didn't.
No, yes. We didn't.
New recruits, that's how you start them, the first couple weeks, whatever. Once they get to working around a truck in academies, and for all the firefighters that are already on shift, set your gear up like you set your gear up, and that's how you do a bunker drill, right? I think bunker drills should be done with your gear, your radio, everything hung up on the truck, just like when you come to work. I think you need to put people in different areas of the firehouse, some in the kitchen, maybe some in the bedroom, some are in the day room, and then you say, go. And then they have to get out there, put their gear on, and get out the door. That's your bunker drill right there. That's a real bunker drill. I do believe with that, they need to mask up with their gloves on. I think that is a big one. I saw a guy in Washington State, and I'll never forget, he was a fire marshal. He wasn't riding the trucks anymore. Super nice guy, great fit guy, taking this class, which he didn't need, but he was taking it. And he had those great big key rings, like for keychains on the side of his masks. And they were huge. And that's the first time I ever saw it. And I said, hey, man, what's up with that? He goes, oh, these are so I can put my mask on. I can mask up really quick with my gloves. I just have to grab those key rings and pull back. And I'm like, I said, two things, brother. I said, you're a fire marshal. He's an officer too. Doesn't even ride fire trucks. I said, good on you. And I said, two, it's the little simple things I never think of. And that's a nice little, and that whole area. I know you've listened to my podcast. I know you've listened to me say this over and over. Pacific Northwest, some of the best culture, not the only best culture, some of the best culture in the fire service. Shout out. But why are we not doing that? Why do you think firefighters don't want to do the bunker drills or do all the training or do the mask up drills with their gloves on or SCBA confidence drills? What is your reason, you think, for some of these people?
I think they honestly they think they can get masked up faster, barehanded, which absolutely they probably can.
Yep.
But then, so you can mask up, pull your Nomex up in 7 seconds with no gloves on, but it takes you 20 or 25 to get your gloves on. So you're back to a 35-second mask up drill.
Yes.
So mine, like I said, assistant chief operations, I've got a command ride. My gear in the back, I got my bunkers right there. I can pull them out, step right into them. Whenever I get to my mask, the top straps are already pulled, set, and taped. So I throw it on the bottom ones, and that's it. I'm not adjusting all four straps. My top ones are already set. Like I said, I throw it on, and my jacket hangs over top of my air pack, just so I grab it, throw it right on, and my air pack comes out. Even if I'm running command on a fire, I'm in an air pack, and my mask is hanging on me, ready to go.
I tell you what, I just heard 1,000 boners across America happen because as a chief officer, you realize you're a firefighter first and you set the example. Good fucking on you. You are awesome, brother. My past chief, I remember him telling me there was no gear in the back of his truck. And I said, why is that? He goes, I can't fit my golf clubs back there. That happened. I've never, ever seen him with his full complement of gear on. Never saw him with the MSAs on because we went to MSA. But I never saw him with one on. Doesn't mean he didn't wear it, but as a training officer, kind of think you would. And the chief officers I've seen, and feel free, I'm not going to call out the department. You know what I'm talking about. You go look at their Facebook page. You look at the chief officers and what they're wearing at the fire ground. Look at them. You'll see two things. You'll see a coat and a helmet, and they'll be standing right next to a battalion chief. There's one battalion chief there that wears his gear constantly. Everything like you're talking about sets the example. The other ones, they put on the bare minimum clothes, and then they get right up in the hot zone. They push the limit, and then they get mad when other people aren't wearing their gear. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, you set the example.
That's not how that works.
No, it doesn't. It's not how it works. So good on you. I love it. Now, I'm not saying I set the example every time. I guarantee you I didn't. I did try. But I've owned up to it, and I've changed my ways. That's why I feel like I can say whatever the fuck I want. That is my podcast. So if they don't like it, eat a bag of dicks. But yes, that's what you got to do. And you got to do it all the time. I'm
not the only chief that does that. My chief, he is in full gear on every single run. Fires. And he is wearing a pack, and he works. He likes to get in there and work. It might be towards the end when everybody else is getting tired, but he's going to get in there and work too. And he's going to get all dirty.
I tell you, so he's talking about his chief, Amir, right? Chief Amir, who I know I've talked to several times, and I have seen him in gear at scenes personally more than I've ever seen like I said, I've only seen my chief wearing a coat and a hat, but I've seen him doing that. I've seen him working. I've talked to him about his idea. I love this. We were getting uniforms at the uniform store, and I saw him, and he's like, "Yeah, I got my guys out there in the heat, working out. We start out slow, and then we add more to it." And I'm like, "What? Oh yeah. I got to get them acclimated." And I had a fire boner. I'm not going to lie. I have a chief say that, and he kept going on and on and on, and how he gets out there. And I talk to people that work for him, and they say the same thing, like what you're saying. Amir is a badass. Amir is one of those guys that does set the example, and it's great. He's one of the best chiefs in this area. We got a few good ones.
Definitely.
We got a few horrible ones, but Amir is a good guy, and he does set the tone. So good on you. Plus,
Yep.
you guys protect my house, like I said. So
That's right.
I sleep well at night.
Absolutely.
So name 5 people you work with that you hate their guts. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I mean, so when it comes to training, I'm gonna tell you what my problem was with training, and I think might translate into other people's issues with it. I think it wasn't so much that I was lazy. I think it was I was out of touch for so long, I didn't want to embarrass myself. You know what I'm saying? So like I never wanted to go first in training, or if it was particularly difficult training, I would kind of try to find a way to get out of it or hang back. I'm embarrassed, but that was what it was for me. But after that, when I realized that, again, setting the tone, I try to be not only the first person to go through it, but like when I would set trainings up, before I trained anybody, I would go through it all by myself, and as much as I could, obviously. I even got stuck in a SCBA confidence maze. Nobody was around. I was stuck in the entanglement, and then I took everything out of my coat because I was traveling. So, it was weight. So instead of putting everything back when I got back to work, I just left everything out. So here I'm all spaghettied up, and I'm like, I could yell for help, but damned if I'm gonna.
Right.
They're gonna find my damn corpse right here. But it was fun because I had to. It was fun because I had to get out of it, and I could have broken all the wires. I could have just done it in such a way to break all the wires, but then I'd be missing a very good lesson, right? So it took me forever. And if you had videotaped it, you'd have made fun of me the whole time. But I got out. I did get out. I think I only broke like 1 or 2 wires out of the 30 or 40 that was tangled up in.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my thought on training. Was I felt like I didn't want to be embarrassed. I felt like I should know more than I do at that point. But then I realized when you realize that nobody knows everything, that makes it really.
Right.
I mean, you could pick, Chief Scott Thompson down in the colony. I guarantee you, he would never say he knows everything.
Right.
Chief Frank Lee from FDNY recently retired. I promise you, he's never said I know everything. I think some of these people become icons in our job because they realize that failing is part of success.
Absolutely.
And
every day is a learning experience. Every day.
Can you imagine going to a house fire, whatever happens there. It's just your house fire. You go back to the firehouse. If you don't discuss it, then you haven't learned anything. You may have learned something on your own, but if you haven't sat around and discussed with your brothers and sisters, then they haven't learned. That's our job, is to teach each other, keep each other safe. So, I mean, is that the kind of thing that you and your crews do, is, after actions and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Yep. I've got one particular firefighter that it doesn't matter anything that's high acuity, extrications or fires or stuff. Like the next shift he's on, he will come into my office and like, hey, what did you see that I need to do better?
Nice.
And so I'll bounce stuff off him. I said, so what's your thoughts on that? Well, what did you see that, what did I give to you on that scene that you could have used that I didn't know you needed, type of stuff? What did you see in there that I'm not seeing on the outside? And we back and forth on stuff, and it's good. I mean, it shows me that he really he's about it. He wants to get better every single day. And our last recruit class, we done a joint academy with Clarksville and Jeffersonville.
Big shout out to Clarksville and Jeffersonville. Great fire departments in this area.
Yep. Went well. I said always together. It was. I really liked it. The aspect of, it's not just me or how we teach our guys to do stuff. Instructors from Clarksville taught how they done stuff, and Jeff taught how they done stuff. Because if anybody ever tells you there's one way to do something, they're a fucking liar, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's just the way it is. There's not ever one set way to do every single thing.
Yes.
And that's actually one of the things that I've been pretty fortunate, I think, is traveling around and, especially since I've been up here at Tri-Township and getting to go other places and go to trainings outside, because Chief was huge on that. He doesn't want us getting stagnant. We just teaching ourselves. He wants people to go out. And, for a small department, we have a massive training budget. When you compare the money we put in our training budget to other departments around us, it's huge. and we're running, right now a single engine, or sometimes we'll have 2 staff today, and we probably have as much money in our training budget as departments that's got 4 and 5 company staff.
Nice. Yeah, mine was.
Yep.
We had five stations, around 80 people, and I think my training budget was $15,000 a year, and almost 10 of that went to Target Solutions. Now, if you're a training officer and you hear me talk about Target Solutions, chances are you're okay with it. If you're anybody else in the world, you probably hate it. I want you to ask yourself why you fucking hate it, because I promise you, you're wrong. It's an excellent tool, but it has to be used correctly.
It's
So
right.
that's they're not a sponsor. They ought to be a sponsor, because I love
They
that
should
shit.
be.
Yeah. Yeah. But, people are always like, oh, you can't learn everything. No, but if you've been on the job for a while and you want to brush up on your building construction or fire behavior, there's nothing better. You're not going to teach somebody that knows nothing about fire service and then make them a firefighter through Target Solutions. That's not what it's for,
No.
But I tell you what, I've bent your ear already enough tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm calling the evening. Part 1 is over with. Now you're going to be back with me next week for part 2. Yes?
Absolutely.
My man. So listen, Chris, thanks for being on. I look forward to talking to you next week. Brothers, listen to Chris next week. He's got some more shit to spit at us. Have a good night. And we're back. Just like that. Part 2. Yes, if you're watching the YouTube, I made sure Chris would wear the exact same clothes, and I'm wearing the same clothes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We were talking a lot about training last week, and one of the things I'm curious about is training new people. So the way they train new recruits today versus like 20, 30 years ago is considerably different. And I think it's a good thing. Now, do you, the example, and I'll tee you up for this one, telling recruits to shut up and, just do what I tell you and not offer any explanation of stuff. Is that how you train your people at Tri-Town? Okay. Is it how you were trained?
Yeah, to an extent. When I first started, of course, back when Steve and I had back there 24-hour mandatory, there wasn't a lot of instruction. They went with it, anyway. But it was like, this is how you do it, and that's it. There was no other, no feedback, no give and take. It was just that was that.
Now, what about today? Now, you probably have your hands full when it comes to having a new recruit at Tri-Township. How do you do it? How do you bring in people into the fold of your family of Tri-Township Fire Department? So,
this last recruit class, they would go to wherever they went, whether it was, Clarksville or Jeff, wherever the class was for that day, depending on the topic. And then they would come back for an additional 2 hours or so, just depending on what time class got out. And our crews worked with them and just worked on more skills, more stuff, just every day. Whatever topic they were working on, if they were doing some search stuff or doing ladders, they would come back and they would go over that with them again. Hey, what worked well for you, what didn't work for you, what do you need to work on type stuff. And, the captains, just every shift, they just kept working with them. If they want to stay a little bit, we had some recruits that struggled a bit on some stuff. They want to stay extra and work on it. They stay extra and worked on it with them.
Mm-hmm. What about once they get on shift now? So like for the rookie year, are they treated like garbage? Are they told to shut up, sit in the corner, don't watch TV?
No, we got a couple that it's more of just a running joke with them, like we have a female recruit, and it's always joking with her about, make sure the kitchen's good and clean, and all that kind of stuff. But no, they all have meshed really well with our crews. They love, they love training. We're big on training, big on physical fitness. We've got crews that they want to, they get into your truck checks, like, all right, let's go to the gym. And they're over at the gym, working out. And, they're just already like one of the guys. There's some things that we do have them do, not as a, cause you're a piece of shit recruit, but, just today, 2 of the recruits that was working on the shift, they got to teach class today. So they were
Really?
working on topics. They had to put together a 30-second or 30-minute presentation. So one done a reading smoke, which was really good. Had a couple of videos and stuff, and then the other one done a class on the can,
Nice.
on the water can. So they did, a little nervous, right? Because they just got out of the academy. They don't know shit yet. They're still trying to figure it out. But
Yeah.
they did good. And so
That's
that's
awesome.
just the kind of stuff we do there. And involve them. I mean, it's they're like I said, they're already one of the guys.
Yes.
They're already part of the crew.
I love that. And I always say, and I did it again. I did it. I've been a fireman for a while. I remember new recruits. I was like, I didn't really literally say this, but I'm sure this is what they took from it was just shut up. You don't know anything. I'll tell you, whatever, however I said it, that's what I was probably truly saying.
Right.
And of course, I'm talking a long time ago. For years now, years and years, I've tried to include them into the fold, and I was hoping that, and I try to help the shift people try to include them as well. That didn't go so well, I don't think, all the time. But when you tell a new recruit to shut up or keep their mouth shut for the first year, then you don't know what they know. Then you're teaching them to be afraid to ask questions. Look, I'm not saying when they come on the job, they're just like the battalion chief. They can have a voice in every single thing that happens. That comes with rank and experience. But they're, like you said, they're part of the crew. They're going to work out. Hey, guys, what do you all want to do today? What's something we could practice on? It's that camaraderie that's going to, I mean, they're in your family. They already joined. You don't have to put them through hell. You don't have to see if you can break them, right? I think that they need to be on par, equal to you as a employee or volunteer firefighter, minus the experience. And if you do it right, they're going to gain a lot of experience quickly, and they'll be able to share that experience. So treating recruits like garbage, I don't buy into it. I've been part of it. I've done a little bit of it. I had an idiot chief of mine tell me I need to be more militaristic. Now, I have been to boot camp. He'd never been to boot camp, but he's telling me I need to be more militaristic.
Right, yeah.
So that, first off, you can't be a military style instructor when it's only you. Anybody that's been in boot camp knows that there's roles that the drill instructors play. Some are extra mean, some are less mean, and some, as time goes on, becomes a little more open to you to where you can ask the right questions about the right things. Whether that's planned or not, I don't know, but everybody I've talked to in the military always has that one drill instructor that they could go to, or that one drill instructor they were always trying to impress because they were always hard on them. You can't do it as one person. Plus, like I said, I don't buy into it. I feel like if your job is to protect the community, and to do that, you need to make great firefighters, and to make great firefighters, you need to hire the right people, and you need to teach them and then learn from them. Everybody's got something to teach you. So that's my impression on some of these new recruits.
Yeah,
and
that's one of the.
Go ahead.
One of the big things, it's like as far as our hiring process. We want to, we're not necessarily trying to find, the most physical fit. We look for good people. If they are a good, honest person, just a good-hearted person, we can teach them.
Right.
We can make them firemen.
What was it? A good friend of mine, Jesse Marcotte, always says, and I'm going to butcher this. Sorry, Jesse, but I think his saying is, give me somebody with good character that has never used a tool, as opposed to somebody with bad character that is a tool, right?
Yeah.
So, in that there's a lot to be said for that. And I tell you a word that word I just used, I've never really thought about it as part of a hiring process or maintaining somebody at the fire service or promoting, but the word character, I don't feel like comes into play enough. We need people with good character. And there are times we all don't have it. Sometimes we're going through a divorce, or our first wife, tries to get back with you. That's fucking horrible, right? But I feel like if you hire, you could hire somebody that's absolutely shredded and yoked. He can bench press a VW. Yeah, you could do that. But if they're an idiot and can't read and learn, what do you got? You could have somebody like that that can read and learn, and that will go through a window or a door to get somebody, But if they have no character, if they don't have character, you can't teach character. You can't, give them a pill to make character. Character, I believe, should be one of the first things we look for. You could teach somebody to go into a burning building. Obviously, you can teach somebody to go faster. You can teach somebody to read a building, know how to read smoke, know fire ban. You can teach that stuff. I don't think you can teach character. I really don't. And that's one of the things I think we need to do more of, is focus on the character. Now, again, I know you listen to my podcast, so you probably heard, I believe it's Rocky Alvaro from Fairfax, one of my favorite departments. And I had him on after a 30-second clip of him telling new recruits the importance of character. So it sounds like, and I know a few people from Tri-Township, right? It sounds like character is an important part to you and your crews.
Yep, definitely is. Definitely is.
I just went on a 10-minute tirade, and that's all you're going to say is definitely is. That's it. I just took all your time to talk, and then
you're eating it up. Yeah. Well, across the board, we've got a solid group of guys. I mean, every department has their people that aren't, the highest caliber performing and stuff. But just overall, I mean, we have very few of that. They're just good people. I actually had a conversation with one of our part-timers about 2 weeks ago. He's in the process of looking at coming full-time. And he come over. He said, he's just really excited about the possibility of doing it. He said, I see just working with the different crews, because being a part timer, he's bounced around, just whenever he's available, and we need the bodies. He said, the thing about this department is, he said, everyone's bought in. Everyone has the same goal.
Right.
Like I said, we're a department's only 5 years old, and we went from starting out with nothing basically, and to paramedic engines, paramedic ALS transport, and just 5 years.
Yes.
And like I said, everyone is that was just probably his biggest thing about this, our culture, and just how everything is there. Just everyone is bought in, everyone is there to serve the public, that we're sworn to protect, and they better themselves every day,
so,
whether it's training, working out.
Are you taking applications for part-time old broken down firefighters?
Maybe.
Shit. I'd work for you in a heartbeat, brother. You know what? Would I have to call you chief?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, salute every time I walk in. That's another big thing you'd have to do.
Okay, let's switch gears here a little bit. So you and I also work at for the state of Indiana Fire Academy. And we're working on a class together. One I'm really excited about. You're the lead instructor for an Instructor 1 class. Now, those that are listening are going, "What's the big deal about an Instructor 1 class?" Well, the problem is there's more volunteers than there is career firefighters. And normally, and I'm not saying all the time in every situation, but normally the fire departments that are a little bit bigger, that have that budget, put on their own classes, right? And they rarely invite other volunteer departments or whatever. So the state has to really fill that gap. And I think they do a great job with it. But what I've noticed is, and credit to the volunteers, not too long ago up in Jennings County, they did a Firefighter 1 and 2. These brothers and sisters worked all day long till 5 o'clock at their full-time job. Then they came straight to the firehouse to learn how to be a firefighter till 10 o'clock at night. And they did this for months. And they did it for hazmat, Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2. I don't know about EMR or EMS. I couldn't tell you that, but it always blew me away. And they were so tired when they walked in, and they were bringing their dinner with them, because they had to eat while they were doing it.
Yeah, right.
And I was inspired. I was like, oh my God, this is, I love being around real firefighters, right? They didn't bitch. Not one of them said,
no,
God, I need a night. So I talked to Chris, and we're working on an Instructor 1 class. It's a hybrid class. And what it's going to be is a lot of online and a lot of in person spread out over a little bit longer time. And the idea is that they have more time with their family. You're more likely to learn if you learn when you want to learn. Again, going back to Target Solutions or Vector Solutions, big fan of it. So what we're trying to do is accommodate the volunteers by offering them multiple days to work on their own. And then Chris is going to have in-person meetings, obviously, and online meetings. And then I'm the actual evaluator and proctor, to where I'll be actually judging their skills and assisting with the tests and everything like that. I couldn't be more excited about this because I really think the targeted audience is kind of left out in the cold sometimes. Speaking, generically around the country. What about you? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, absolutely. I think, like you said, a lot of the bigger city departments and stuff like that. They do all their, they'll do their own in-house stuff, and they're going to do it 8 to 4, 8 to 5, whatever. Where it's just not that opportunity, for volunteers to get involved in it. So, me being a volunteer, for a good portion of my career in the fire service, I'm really looking forward to it. And we're going to pick a couple students every week, and they're going to kind of take on the next couple of chapters, and they're going to study that chapters. They're going to do a presentation on the upcoming chapters. So it's going to be a little bit of like they're going to be teaching themselves to the class, and teaching their fellow classmates what's coming up. And then we're going to fill in the gaps where we need to, and to get them all the curriculum they need. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty interesting, and I think it's going to go pretty good. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, and I'm looking forward to how we can apply this model to other classes, because some of these classes can be dry. But if you want to make a boring class, a boring class or a dry class or whatever, or a less exciting class, what do you want to call it? More fun, you involve the students. If you sit there for 8 hours listening, you're not doing any good. But if they know that they have to help teach part of it, come up with a review for part of it. Matter of fact, we talked about the very first meeting, everybody has to stand up in class and give a 5-minute talk on them, them.
Teach us about yourself.
You're going to teach us about yourself. We might even give them a heads up and give them the old, tell them what you're going to teach them, and then tell them what you taught them model. We'll say, okay, here's a model. Works pretty well for fire service, especially. Tell us what you're going to teach us, then teach us that, then tell us what you taught us. But the goal is to we're not trying to make people get their certifications. That honestly, that's the least thing I'm worried. I'm not even worried about certifications, and I'll probably get yelled at by my bosses for saying that. I care about making good fire instructors. And you and I working together, looking at your syllabus, I just don't see a way it's going to be anything but great. I think it's taking in consideration the brothers and sisters that need a little extra time around the house, but they can still get on and study on their own at their own pace, meet certain benchmarks, obviously. But I'm super stoked about it, brother.
Yeah, I am. I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, and there's just a little bit of pressure on us because, the people above me, very supportive, but I'm also afraid that if it bombs.
Right. What's these fucking idiots doing down there?
We work in a place where different parts of the state of Indiana, there's different cultures, just like different parts of the country. Like I said, you go to Pacific Northwest, you see a great culture, man. You go down to, big shout out to my buddy Jacob Johnson in Pearland, Texas, Houston, Texas especially, but Pearland, Texas, man, you talk about a culture. Oh my God, what a great culture. So that's our goal. We're trying to make a little bit better culture step by step. And so I'm really stoked about that. Now, I want to ask you something before we're getting ready to wrap up here, because my lovely bride is giving me a heart out. I need to know, do you have anything on your fire service bucket list that you haven't done yet that you're looking to do that you want to do?
Man, as far as certification wise, I've got, several of the tech rescue stuff. As much as I love fires, I really like the tech rescue stuff. Extrication, a big one. I've taught it a lot. That was another thing that, once I got up here and got exposed to some other people, I'm like, gosh, I've been doing, door pops a certain way, or, making room a certain way for a long time. And then I took a class with Advanced Rescue Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
They done a tech class here in Clark County for extrication and heavy vehicle, and see a couple tricks. I'm like, fuck, why wasn't I doing that?
Yeah.
And now that's like my go-to. It's just doing a crush down from on the like the C post down on the door to roll the back door out. Like that's my go-to down every time. But there's, like I said, a couple more, like just like the tech rescue things that I'd like to get finished up. I was in the beta class that the state did for the surface water, so I'm one of the instructors for the state for that. So I'm hoping to grow on the other water stuff as it's available. Like when the state gets the flood.
I got to talk to you after this, by the way.
All right.
About that exact class. Yeah. Cool.
But other than that, I do want to get my fire officer 3 and 4 eventually, but I know those are some pretty probably dry classes as well. A lot of heavy skill stuff. So, but eventually that's something I want to get, and I just, I'm getting an opportunity to travel a lot, and go to classes. I just got back a few weeks ago from Battalion Chief Boot Camp for CF Tactics down in Pensacola. Great class.
Oh, you took the big.
Kurt. Yes, it was. It was good
did
stuff.
He talk slow and very
God,
monotone?
no. He is amped up 100 miles an hour all the time, and it was good though. It was a lot of really good stuff, a lot of good information, and I took a lot. They provided us with notes. That was part of the class. You didn't have to worry about taking notes, but I wasn't sure if everything would be in the notes, so I still took some notes and was jotting stuff down. And I think one night we went back to our hotel room and I had like 50 sticky notes that had little things wrote on them just to keep track. So I got them all. They're actually in my office back at the station. This little tidbits, little nuggets, But Kurt's awesome. He's like I said, he's 100 mile an hour or better all the time, and it's a lot. But he's got some knowledge. He does. He does a good job.
I think that whole area down there is a good culture. And it's a very progressive culture. I mean, you're looking at, Shannon and DJ Stone down there.
Yep.
Of course, Kurt down there. And who was it that just moved? Nick Peppard, I believe, moved up to Wichita, who I believe, it's him, moved from that area.
He was Holly Navarre. Was it? Or Navarre Fire Department?
Navarre, yeah, I think that's right. That's right next to
right next to Pensacola,
Yep. Good, another good area. We didn't get to talk about everything we wanted to talk about today. So I tell you what, I do want to ask you something. We've talked about podcasts before. I love podcasts. There's nothing better than being in the gym and doing something boring, like you're on a treadmill or whatever, doing back, legs, whatever. I just work. The only muscle I work is my wrist. That is it. And it's not in the gym. They won't let me do it.
Right.
But I love listening to podcasts. It makes me, it's like you get a keynote speaker in your head for 30 minutes to an hour. I love it. So I know for a fact you're a big podcast fan. Name a couple of your favorites.
So Weekly Scrap, McCorley is probably one of my absolute favorites. He's awesome. I mean, just the clientele he gets in there, the people he gets in, just all over the country he talks to, and you just pick up a little bit of nugget from every single one of those people, and I love it. I mean, it's just I have honestly listened to every single podcast except for the one that just came out this week. I haven't listened to it yet.
So
200, whatever he's at.
If you listen to every one of them, then you listened when I was on it. That's obviously your more favorite.
Yeah. I mean, duh.
I was trying not to shit myself being on his podcast. His podcast is honestly my favorite too. And then what do you got another favorite, or do you pretty much just listen to that?
So obviously 3-Point Firefighter, right?
Boom. There you go. So you're the other subscriber.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. So that's when we first met, do you remember?
No.
So Clarksville, the acquired structures.
Yes, I do. Yes, we were down there
So
on the by the creek. Yes.
Yep, we burned like four houses there over the span of a couple of weeks.
We
And
had 70 live burns in 3 weeks. Yes.
it was awesome. Great time, learned a lot from that about the whole 1403 process and all that.
Yep.
And when you introduced yourself, I can't remember what you told me. It was some fucked up name. You like some like Periwinkle something, or it's just something, and I'm like, who is this smart ass, Well, then, so then it wasn't actually. This is a couple weeks after that. I think someone had shared a podcast you done on Facebook with a local chief, and so I started listening to it. Started listening to 3 Point Firefighter, and I listened to every one of yours. I went back all the way back and listened to all of them,
Nice.
and you had Corley on, and so I was like, well, listen to his too. So I kind of got hooked on just both of them. I just listened to, like I said, almost every single one of them. Even it might be a couple of his like early on ones that I hadn't caught yet or something, but those are definitely my two. I mean, I was a big music guy. I loved listening to music all the time when I was in the car, or driving back and forth to classes. No music at all anymore. I listen to podcasts all the time. And,
there's Jump Seat Leadership with.
So I have listened to some of Josh Grace.
Josh Chase is good.
Chase,
and then him and Sergi both have another podcast. And then what's another one?
There's a new one I've listened to a couple of so far. Relentless Rejects.
So I've seen it, haven't heard it yet.
Preston Lyons. I've listened to, I've just listened to his first couple, so I haven't got real deep into that yet. But
Student of the Game, listen to that one with Danny Bouvet.
Oh, okay.
Student of the Game. That guy oozes passion. And what's funny is he's like me. I fanboy, right? I get made fun of for fanboying, but I fanboy like a son of a bitch. And he has all these pictures. Like when he goes to conferences, Danny, he gets pictures with everybody. And he's just got this look on his face, man. And that's why I love him so much, because it's infectious. If you listen to his podcast, Student of the Game, it's infectious. You could hate the fire service. You're going to listen to a couple of his podcasts, and you're going to be out there in your gear, doing push-ups and shit, throwing ladders. Another great one. But I appreciate your kind words. I truly do. I agree with you that Corley, I mean, come on. And I'm very fortunate to know the guy. I don't hang out with him, obviously, but I feel I can call him, I can text him, and he's genuinely that nice a guy. I still think I've got the only, I call it the turkey from bowling. I got a turkey in his class. I bought his book on else. After I bought his book, I took the class, right? And then there was something else. What else did I do? I did something else. I got 3 things out of his class. Saw him, did it in person, read the book. Oh, and then I bought the extended version online and listened to all the extra stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I highly recommend. But all right, before we go, I need to know something. Ask every one of my guests this. What's the best prank that you have played, or if I played?
So I've been doing some thinking on this, because I'm not I'm usually pretty serious at work. I'm not a big prankster guy, but we did have one guy that worked with us that was like this. Every little noise, he thought the firehouse was haunted. So I wasn't like directly involved in it, but I was on the shift, and like we got at one time we got some, I don't know, some stuff. There's an Amazon fulfillment center here close, so there was a whole bunch of return stuff, and they would just give it out to the fire department, and we just kind of rummaged through it, and if there was anything we wanted, or so there were guys getting like costumes and masks and stuff out of them, and they literally had this guy come in, a friend of theirs. They went out, put this costume out back, out the back door. He put it on, and like they left the door unlocked. He like just walked. Like everyone that was working on shift was in the day room, and this one guy that's just super scared was sitting where he could see down the hallway. Well, he walked past the door for the day room for the hallway. He's like, "Who was that?" And then he like disappeared. Like everyone's in here, no one else is here. And this went on for like 2 hours with this guy. And like I said, I wasn't like directly involved in it as far as pulling the prank, but I was. I definitely wasn't like, just sitting back all innocent about it either.
That's one. So, you never tell people in the fire service what you're scared of, ever.
Oh no, you don't, because you're going to live it the rest of your life there.
I made it 30 years, and I said I would say it after I retired. So, and I don't think I have yet, but I'm going to. Horrified of spiders, horrified.
Spiders.
So through all the times I've been in the fire service, there's always been a situation where there was a spider here, spider there. Maybe you're making a run and there's a spider in it, whatever it is. And I had to act like it didn't bother me at all, because I knew if I let them know that I was not just scared, horrified of spiders, that's all I would see. So I made it 30 years, never had a spider prank played on me. I did pretend I was afraid of snakes, not afraid of snakes at all. And so I would they would throw buckets of rubber snakes and stuff all over my bed, and I'd have to pretend like I was scared, and then finally I gave that up. I'm like, I can't keep acting like this. Snakes don't fucking bother me. Here's a real garter snake. Pick it up. Look, there you go. I'm not afraid of snakes. So I did make it without anybody knowing I was scared of spiders.
Spiders, huh?
So now, there you go. Brother, it means a lot to me that you're on here. You've been a good friend. You've been a good supporter. I'm a big fan of you as a chief officer and as a firefighter. It means a lot. Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Jake. I thought no one's going to want to listen to what I got to say, and there might only be 3 people that hear this, and then 2 of them will probably be because I'll watch it twice. But hey, that's all right. That's all right. I'll tell my mom how to get on YouTube, and she can watch it or something.
Well, I tell you what. So everybody that's listening to this, do me a favor, email me at 3pointfirefighter@gmail.com and just send me whatever picture you want to send me that's appropriate. And I will send it forward to Chris to let him know that you listen to this. So,
right.
And then I tell you what, I'll find something to send you. Whoever has the best picture that Chris picks out of all the pictures, I got some swag I'll send you. Chris, brother, thanks for being on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Jake. I appreciate it, man.
See you, buddy.
See you.
Today's podcast was sponsored by Fire Facilities, designers and manufacturers of realistic, built-to-last training structures and mobile units for 35 years. Make training count. Visit firefacilities.com for more information.